Hi, my name is Chris Kemchinski. I'm the CEO of McDonald's. I'm going to be here talking to you, the board of directors, about our ratios in regards to the industry ratios. First, we're going to talk about liquidity, which is in regards to the current ratio and the quick ratio. Our current ratio is slightly lower than the industry average. The industry ratio coming in at 1.1. This measures 0.1 lower than the industry average, which is obviously 1.2. Although our ratio is lower than the industry average, we are not overly concerned about the discrepancy because of how small the number actually is. Our quick ratio is slightly higher than the industry average. The industry average is 1.0 and our average is 1.1. This is good news because with this information, we know that we have enough assets in case an emergency situation arises, we can cover it. Moving on to the efficiency in the use of assets, our fixed asset turnover is 0.6738, while the industry average is 6.6. The major difference in these numbers boils down to how many stores and how many assets McDonald's has around the world. Because of the number of each, this explains why we have such a lower number than the industry average and why it is nothing to be overly concerned about. Just like our fixed asset turnover, our total asset turnover is lower than the industry average. Our ratio came in at 0.113, while the industry average is 2.1. This number is more concerning because of how low the number actually is. As a company, we need to focus more on improving sales at our different locations. This could be done by adding additional items to the already large menu or offering different promotions around the world depending on the location and the geodiversity of the area. Moving on to the degree of financial leverage. Our debt to equity ratio is a bit higher than the industry average, coming in at 1 to 0.791. This number simply means that we rely more on borrowed money we get from investors or banks than the average business does. This is not something to be worried about since our profits are actually so high. Our equity multiplier is almost double what the industry average is. Our ratio came in at 8.49 and the industry average is 4.78. This number agrees with our debt to equity ratio above in the sense that we rely on more debt to finance our business than our other competitors do. And like I said before, this is nothing to be concerned about. Moving on to how well interest expenses are covered. Our times interest earned is larger than the industry average. The industry average is 10, while our ratio is 11.67. This number is very beneficial to us since we use so much debt to finance the day-to-day operations for our company. The higher the number is, the less likely we are to default on our loans, meaning that we are a trustworthy company to give loans to. Without this, we would not be able to continue running our business the way we do and have been running it for a while now. Moving on to how well expenses are being contained. This number is the one we are most proud of. Our pre-tax profit margin is more than triple the industry average. The industry average is only 8.7%, while our average is 27.20%. This is the number that tells people how profitable our business actually is. The higher this ratio is, the more profit the company generates for each recorded revenue. This number is extremely important to us because with all the debt that we have outstanding, we need to be as profitable as possible to be able to pay all of it back. Moving on to our overall profitability, our pre-tax ROA, return on asset, ratio is significantly lower than the industry average. Our ratio is 3.03%, while the industry average is 15.4%. This number is very concerning because of the wide margin between the two. This number shows how much we can actually improve our efficiency and productivity of managing our balance sheet to generate profits for us. However, this number can be explained by the large amounts of debt that we use to finance all of our assets around the world. And finally, our pre-tax ROE, return on equity, is much lower than the industry average. Our ratio came in at 25%, while the industry average is 73.3%. This value indicates that we do not earn a lot when compared to our shareholders' equity, and this is nothing to be worried about because of how profitable our company actually is. Thank you. That's going to wrap up this discussion. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and go Cats.